Can you remember the first time that you saw Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch? For me, it wasn't just a moment of awe, but it left a question that wouldn't leave my mind. How is something like that even possible?
He did the same thing to me that he did to James Coburn. What he did was he has this 1-inch punch.
Bang, like that. Knocked me into the chair. The chair fell down. I rolled over into the corner with a 1-inch punch.
Well, in this video, we're going to dive deep into Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch. We're going to talk about its origins, the science, and why it still captivates martial artists and fans today. And I'll also share why this punch has inspired my own journey to understand short-range power and Chinese internal martial arts. So look, was it really just showmanship, or was there something much more to the 1-inch punch? Let's find out. When Bruce Lee stepped up at the Long Beach International Karate Championships in 1964 and demonstrated his 1-inch punch, it wasn't just a martial arts demo, it was a mic drop. People were stunned, asking, how can a punch from this little guy who's standing just 1 inch away generate that much power?
Bruce was famous for this thing. He had a 1-inch hit he would do. And I mean, you could stand there and brace yourself, and he would literally move his hand 1 inch and send you across the room.
Well, to understand the 1-inch punch, we need to go back to its roots. It didn't come out of nowhere. Bruce Lee's early training in Wing Chun Kung Fu laid the foundation, focusing on close-range combat and efficiency. But here's what's fascinating. Bruce didn't stop there. He took what he learned, tore it apart, and rebuilt it into something uniquely his own. Well, as someone who trains in internal Kung Fu styles that make use of Fa Jin, and that's just a word that simply means explosive power, Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch has always been my go-to example for explaining short-range power. But every time I tried to explain it, people would stop and ask me, hey man, is that really real, or can people actually do that? Well, this journey isn't just about the mechanics, it's about the man, the myth, and the meaning behind one of martial arts' most iconic moves. Along the way, we'll explore the skepticism, the science, and even the pop culture impact that has kept this technique on people's minds for decades. Well, this is the moment that stunned the martial arts world. Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch wasn't just a move, it was a phenomenon. In just seconds, he demonstrated precision, power, and a level of mastery that felt almost otherworldly.
I actually saw Bruce Lee's demonstration in 1964, the Long Beach tournament held by Mr. Ed Parker.
With his explosive power and speed, I was in awe. Everybody was. His hand sensitivity trapping, I've never seen things like that before. His grappling, his punching, his kicking were never seen before or witnessed.
I always remember that moment when he did that 1-inch punch. I think a lot of people remember that punch.
For many in the audience that day, the 1-inch punch felt like magic. How could so much force come from such a small movement? But for Bruce Lee, it wasn't magic. It was a statement about efficiency, mastery, and the untapped potential of human capability. But let's dig deeper. The 1-inch punch wasn't just an incredible feat of strength. It was a reflection of Bruce Lee's martial arts philosophy. He believed that power didn't come from size or from brute force. It came from precision, timing, and the ability to harness all of your body's full potential in a single moment.
When you do punch, now I'm leaning forward a little bit, hoping not to hurt any camera angle. I mean, you gotta put the whole hip into it and snap it and get all your energy in there and make this into a weapon.
The 1-inch punch is a masterclass in biomechanics. Bruce Lee wasn't just hitting with his fist, he was generating power from the ground up, from his feet through his core and into his arm. Every part of his body worked in perfect harmony to deliver maximum impact. What made it even more fascinating was its connection to traditional Chinese martial arts. Techniques like this weren't new, they were rooted in a style like Wing Chun, where close-range power and efficiency is key. But Bruce Lee took these concepts and he elevated them into something revolutionary. Bruce Lee alleged 1-inch punch, or sometimes it was called a 2-inch punch, but anyway, it's a hoax. While the 1-inch punch amazed audiences, it didn't convince everyone. Some critics called it a party trick, a flashy stunt that was designed to dazzle a crowd, but it had no real application in combat. Other people questioned whether the demonstration itself was even real.
He so allegedly wanted to punches them into the solar plexus downward so that they fell into the steel sitting chair. But the chair hadn't been there. He had just taken a step back. He wouldn't have lost his balance in the first place. So if he had just stepped back into a fighting stance, Bruce Lee wouldn't have been able to even knock him off his feet. It's a hoax, all right?
The critiques weren't entirely unfounded. A demonstration is by nature controlled, but dismissing the 1-inch punch as a fake misses the point entirely. What Bruce Lee was showcasing wasn't a fight-ending move, it was a principle, the ability to generate explosive power in a short distance, and that's incredibly practical in close quarters combat. The 1-inch punch wasn't meant to win fights on its own, it was meant to illustrate an idea that true power comes from precision, not force. Critics may have called it a trick, but for those who understand its mechanics, it's anything but.
The 1-inch punch is actually a method of Chinese Kung Fu of generating power.
Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch didn't just stay in the world of martial arts, it became a cultural phenomenon. From Hollywood blockbusters to video games, the 1-inch punch has been recreated, parodied, and celebrated countless times. But it's not just about the technique, it's about what it represents, mastery over the self. To understand how Bruce Lee mastered the 1-inch punch, we need to explore where it came from. The origins of this technique lie in Wing Chun, the martial art that is the foundation for Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, and it's the style of Kung Fu that Bruce Lee studied in Hong Kong as a teenager under Grandmaster Yip Man.
You know, Bruce Lee called it the 1-inch punch, right? But that's not actually what it's called in traditional Wing Chun Kung Fu. We call it long bridge power or short bridge power.
In Wing Chun, the focus is on generating maximum power in minimal space. Practitioners train to use their entire body to create explosive energy, a concept known as Fa Jin. The principle is present in many Southern Chinese styles of Kung Fu, and many of these styles are also influenced by Hakanese martial arts, which share a similar emphasis on efficiency and close-range power.
Basically, it's about hitting someone really hard from super close range.
But Bruce Lee didn't stop at tradition. He blended Wing Chun principles with inspirations from boxing and fencing, thus creating something entirely his own. Bruce Lee was inspired by Jack Dempsey's straight lead, a move that prioritized speed and directness, and fencing stop hit, which emphasized timing and precision. By blending these concepts, he developed a version of the 1-inch punch that was uniquely his own. One of the first demonstrations of the 1-inch punch happened in private. At James Lee's home, Bruce showed the technique to Bob Baker, who later described the experience as like getting hit by a car. What Bruce Lee was doing wasn't just about raw power. It was about efficiency, precision, and the ability to harness every ounce of potential from his body. This is what made his 1-inch punch so extraordinary.
1-inch punch is a catchy term made up by Bruce Lee, which it actually is correct, but really there's all kinds of short power. I mean, you can use a short power palm strike, you can use, a 1/2-inch punch or a 3-inch punch.
Now that we've seen where the 1-inch punch comes from, let's dive into how it actually works. And to do that, we need to break it down to the level of physics and biomechanics. Here's the secret. The 1-inch punch is not just about arm strength.
It's like your whole body becomes this whip. Your legs and your core give you a solid base, and then the power goes through your shoulder, elbow, and wham! Right through your fist. But you don't even fully extend your arm, It's all about that short burst of power.
Bruce Lee mastered the ability to transfer energy with minimal wasted motion. That's what made his punch so powerful. It was biomechanically perfect. So is it magic? No, not at all. It's just physics, precision, and an incredible amount of practice.
And just flicking it, giving yourself like a flat target, and you use the 3 bottom knuckles here, and you just pop forward. Take your time, no point in rushing it. Make sure that your elbow's in your center, and just slowly over time, just keep working on a soft pad or a pad of beans.
The 1-inch punch might look effortless, but it's the result of years of disciplined training and a deep understanding of biomechanics. What Bruce Lee did was take principles that already existed in martial arts, and then he pushed them to their absolute limits. And that's the real story of the 1-inch punch. It's not a stunt, It's not magic, it's just the pinnacle of what happens when biomechanics meet mastery.
There is no way you could ever knock me out.
The 1-inch punch isn't just a technique though, it's also a pop culture icon. I mean, who knew Bruce Lee's legacy would end up in video games and in animated movies?
I've got a 1-inch punch that is better than anything you did. And I said, really? I'd like to see that. And he said, got a pillow? And so I stood up, put a pillow in front of me and hold it, bang, like that.
He was able to generate that force that seemed to just come from the tip of his toes right out to the end of his extended hand. He could just hit you just like a high-speed bullet.
Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch didn't just impress audiences, it inspired generations of martial artists. His demonstration of short-range power sparked curiosity and innovation across the world.
I mean, everybody is shocked, including all the karate or all the professional people over there. I mean, the power that this guy had. I mean, 1 inch, and the guy, boom, just flew to the chair. So it was very, very impressive.
For many, the 1-inch punch became a gateway into deeper study. It was like a gateway drug that sent people looking to get their next fix. Some people took up Jeet Kune Do, others they took up Wing Chun. But then there were people who turned to the internal styles like Xing Yi and Tai Chi Chuan to uncover the secrets of Fa Jin. They learned that it's not magic. It's just learning how to get your body in sync with your movements and then to project power in the movement. Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch wasn't just about physical power, it was a living example of his philosophy. At its core, the punch embodied 3 principles of Jeet Kune Do: simplicity, directness, and efficiency. Bruce Lee believed that martial arts, like life itself, should be stripped of unnecessary complexity. Every movement should have a purpose. The 1-inch punch was a demonstration of this belief: maximum impact with minimal effort. But Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do wasn't just about efficiency. It was also about adaptability, about finding your own path. Bruce Lee didn't want students to mimic his movements. He wanted them to express themselves through martial movement.
They want to learn to express themselves through some movement, be it anger, be it determination, or whatsoever. So in other words, what I'm saying therefore is that he is paying me to show him in combative form the art of expressing the human body.
The 1-inch punch was more than just a technique from a demonstration. It was Bruce Lee's way of showing us that martial arts and life are about self-expression. It's not about doing things exactly as he did them, but about understanding the principles and making them completely your own. In the end, the 1-inch punch wasn't just about strength or even speed. It was a reflection of Bruce Lee's philosophy, a reminder that simplicity, focus, and adaptability can turn the impossible into reality. But as impressive as the 1-inch punch is, it's important to separate its demonstration value from its real-world applications. And while the punch highlights core principles of martial arts, it's not exactly a move that you'd rely on in a fight.
The Bruce Lee 1-inch punch, I've seen the best video that they have of it, and it's a hoax. It's a charlatan trick. I could do the same thing to Brock Lesnar, all right?
The 1-inch punch wasn't designed as a standalone fighting technique. Instead, it's a showcase of efficiency, timing, and the ability to generate power in confined spaces, qualities that are crucial in real-world self-defense.
If you ever watch the video, the person that he does it on is no bigger than himself, first of all, and secondly, it's a body torque and more of a push than a punch, and he's pushing down into the person's solar plexus, and then they fell onto a seated chair that was behind them.
Bruce Lee even wrote himself that his 1-inch punch demonstration was a push, not a move that you would do in a real fight.
By some strange action, he just kind of twitches, and you go flying back about 6 feet. I hit the wall and fell off of the wall, fell down, and I thought to myself, what in the hell happened to me? How in the hell did I go flying back 6 feet, hit the wall, fall off, and fall down on the ground? I'm the Pan American gold medalist for judo.
And the principles behind the 1-inch punch, like timing, precision, and explosive power are incredibly useful in self-defense, but like I said, that exact move, not so much.
So let's say the person, we attack and the person kind of intercepts my punch. Boom, boom. That's that 1-inch punch comes in.
In a real fight, adaptability is key. The 1-inch punch serves as a reminder that even at close range, with proper technique and focus, you can generate significant force. This adaptability is what keeps Bruce Lee's teachings relevant in modern martial arts. So while you may not see anyone using the 1-inch punch exactly as Bruce Lee does in his demonstrations, its principles live on. They become a foundation for modern self-defense techniques emphasizing efficiency, precision, and adaptability, and that technique and the philosophy behind it you can even see in MMA fights today. Over the years, the 1-inch punch has become more than a technique. It's a symbol of human potential, a reminder of what's possible when you combine focus, discipline, and imagination. From Hollywood films to video games, the 1-inch punch has left its mark on global culture. It's not just a move, it's an icon, a moment that captured the imaginations of millions and continues to inspire fans worldwide. Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch embodies the essence of its philosophy. It's about simplicity, efficiency, and pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible. It's not just a martial arts technique, it's a testament to human innovation. And that's the true legacy of Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch. It's not just about the power of a strike, it's about the power of an idea that continues to inspire, challenge, and remind us of our limitless potential.
And that moment, when that punch, then I know he's the man. And he will be the man. And will always be the man.
Well, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the real story behind Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch, well then I invite you guys to dive even deeper and learn all about how Bruce Lee's martial arts journey began in Hong Kong training under Grandmaster Yip Man. And since I mentioned Bruce Lee's training, hey, I hope you guys all keep training. Remember to breathe and come back and holler at me on the next video.